Good afternoon, and welcome to the first, I believe, the first official Ole Talk of the brand new year.
Good afternoon, peeps. Good afternoon,
2025.
everybody.
Brand new year, brand new things, and surprisingly, brand new people in here. President Chada's here. After years of missing, President Chada's here. Don't worry, we have me and Zai here are already set a date. You understand? For his trial, he'll be put on trial. You know, um,
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
and Zahir, who is always here, never missing. Zahir, how are you doing?
I'm fine, guys. Can you all hear me?
Of course, yes, man.
The headset's not connecting, so we'll have to work with it as it is. Everybody. You see when the Birdman not around? All sorts of gremlins just be in the internet, boy.
Oh gosh, yes. But right, people, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are currently live on the official Instagram page. So either which way, guys, make sure to check us out, like, comment, share it everywhere. Um, right, since it's our first show of the year, we gotta talk about the brand new, the brand new news. The Slovak has pulled off a major coup, a major coup today. I mean, we have gotten the COO of Manchester City. Let me get his name for
That's the massacre. I'll be right back.
All right.
Omar.
Mr. Omar Barada, who is the COO of Manchester City, and he has been appointed as the brand new CEO of Manchester United. Well, the news came from, I say, I mean, it was a shock. It was not in the news anywhere. I know that we had there was people talk about different people for different positions, and then all of a sudden came this news. Now, I myself, I am very, I guess, pessimistic about disappointment, because again, he is coming from our rivals. He is leaving Man City to come to the red side.
1-1-1.
Yes, we hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was putting on my Bluetooth, having some challenges, but I'm back. Yes, carry on.
Yes. So the news has been, I mean, I guess, has been met with some sort of skepticism, a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of hope, some optimism, and of course, there is the big monkey of 115 charges. So all of a sudden, this guy decides, you know what? I'm gonna jump ship, right, and come to this club. Now, are those charges gonna follow him to this door? And remember, right? This was an appointment made by the Glazers and Sir Radcliffe. And to me, anything that involves the Glazers, to me, is just evil and corrupt. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I had to ask all of you guys, I mean, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this?
Anything?
Well, I am.
You go first.
Drinking tea because I need to be sober for this discussion, you understand? It is very sobering discussions today. So we're not drinking the normal, stuff we were drinking in the bar. But fortunately, the bar have tea in it, so we give thanks.
Right.
There's a lot to a lot to unpack. The first thing, as you touched on, is that this is a Glazer appointment, right? It was run by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, but this was a Glazer appointment. At least all the reports we are hearing that they were the ones that spearheaded it. This was not a Ratcliffe appointment to say, well, all right, I'm coming in, this is the man I want to see you. This was a Glazer appointment. So the Glazers has been lining this up for a little while. It is being reported that the former COO, sorry, at City, that he didn't know anything about the supposed fraud at City. I find that very hard to believe. The ball boys on the side of the pitch in City knew about the fraud. Now, when I say they knew about the fraud, I didn't say they were involved in fraud.
But they knew.
All I'm saying is they knew about it, because even before UEFA brought charges, you would remember these emails that led to the bringing of charges were made public. Even before that, there was rumblings in the press and on social media about the fact that City had some companies that seemed a little suspect as sponsors, because when you click on them, it seemed like it's just a shell company. You're not seeing any product. You're not seeing, you're just seeing a name, and this company supposedly signing all of this money over to City. Up to recently, that was an issue, but back then you were seeing these rumblings, right? The UEFA charges didn't pop out of nothing. So if you are COO of a company, you involved in the organization, you must read the papers. Anything that pop up with your organization, we are United supporters. Anything that pop up anywhere with United, we paying attention as supporters, much less for somebody working in the organization at a high level, right? So I'm not buying this. He not involved. He didn't know nothing about the 115 charges. Give me a break. Rest me with that. Right? Rest me with that old talk.
Other ask, right? The Glazers bring him here to find a new way to take more money from the club.
Well, I don't know, but he seems like a Glazers kind of guy, because he seems like the kind of guy that would be involved in an organization, possibly see nefarious activities taking place, and just stay quiet and do his job. So it seems like a perfect Glazer appointment for me, right? I will touch on the second part of this. When you want to be successful, you need to hire people who come from successful organizations. So from that perspective, I could say, well, yes, City is and has been the most successful club since the departure of Sir Alex. It would make sense to hire somebody who knows the inner workings of that organization, who could bring, I mean, look at, despite all the success they have, City's wage bill is less than Manchester United. In case people didn't hear me, let me repeat that again. City's wage bill is less than Manchester United, right? So clearly they're doing certain things right. We've been doing certain things wrong. Bringing somebody with that necessary know-how is a positive thing. I just have my little suspicions, because it's not like if City is the pinnacle of I don't want to, what is the word I want to use? They're the pinnacle of success, but not necessarily the pinnacle of doing it the right way. I put it like that. So that's my thoughts on it. And maybe we could delve into the weeds after Zaire makes his contribution.
As I mentioned in our chat, I don't trust anybody and anything connected with Manchester City. Heck, I just call the manager Fraudiola, for God's sake. Right? So anything connected to that club, I do not trust. However, there is no denying the fact that for the period of time the man has been in his position as chief, well, I believe the COO would have been chief operating officer or operations officer. For the length of time that he has held that portfolio, the success of that club on the field of play has been astronomical. And off the field of play, they have been steadily gaining ground on those like us who consider ourselves the traditional big football clubs in the world. Right? So therefore, the man must have had and must have a knowledge base, a skill set, and a certain amount of, how they just call it, nous, in how he handles his business. I agree that it is very easy to see this as the Glazers having offered him a get out of jail, literally and figuratively, card to jump ship and come to the red side of Manchester. Right? I am wary of casting aspersions and making allegations that we have no proof of. I would hope that now that we have a new minority owner and the sporting affairs of the club will be in the hands of Ineos, as they clearly indicated in their statements when they announced that Ineos and Sir Jim were coming in with their stake in the club. I am hoping that the Ineos side of things will keep an extremely close eye on how the financial side of things are going to be run with regards to football business. I agree with what Chad was saying. People do not realize that City, for all the stars that they have attracted and all the 100 million players that they have bought, still spend less monthly on salaries than we do. On players who, let's be honest, are far and away better than what we can put out on the field, day in, day out. We have players on our starting 11 that probably will not make a third string Carabao Cup game against a non-league team for City. It just wouldn't happen. Right? So at this point, I'm going to say yes. This is a Glazers appointment. We know anything they do is suspect. But the point was made on another program this morning that the Glazers have been in charge since just before this guy took up his position at City. Right? So in all the years that City has been successful, the Glazers have been with us. Never made a move. They sat back and allowed rank incompetent idiots like Woodward and Richard Arnold and John Mutter to run this club into the ground. I'm not going to give them credit. If this works out, I am not giving them credit for finally doing the right thing and saving us. I am going to go down the line of, I really hope this was Ineos having explored all options. Ineos having dipped into the well of Sun Tzu's The Art of War that says to know your enemy, one must first know yourself. And they know we have nobody in the structure to compete with what City offers. So they went and get City best person. Let's hope that's how it works out, guys. And maybe when we play City in the next round that we have to face them in the league and we cut their backside good and proper, maybe we could say we get some inside information and we're going forward.
All right. I have to say good afternoon to Courtney, what's going on? And obviously to Ashton Nikwai. Glory. Now I know his well, from what I have read, and I may not necessarily be correct, he may be starting his role here at the end of the season, right? But I know he is currently on leave at Man City. I think they called it a garden leave, which I find
that's what they call it when you, if I know that you are leaving your job with me to go and work somewhere else, I don't want you carrying the most relevant or most present information. So what the organization does is we we will allow you to go. Yes, we are allowing you to go. So everybody knows that it's your next appointment, but you cannot go in the office and start work. So they call it garden leave in the sense that the concept is that you are supposed to stay home and garden, right? You're supposed to stay home and chill out for the next few months until the end of the season. Now, the truth be told, what normally happens with people who are professionals and really into their stuff, you would just be working remotely. You would start work, you would not be officially on the payroll yet, but you would want to have an idea if you're going to be CEO, who's underneath you, who's whatever. You cannot go into Manchester United premises, right? Because your parent company has, they're allowing you to go, yes, but you're picking up duties at that time. So more likely than not, he would start his duties remotely and wouldn't be officially unveiled as our CEO until he can be officially unveiled. But that's normally what garden leave is about. The concept is you stay home to garden while, until appropriate time for you to get sent in.
And on a side note, I just hope that the City Group, which is basically the name of the organization you'll be working for, the City Group, I just hope they don't exercise or have not inserted into his contracts something that major law firms do, which is this non-compete clause. So I just hope it's not a situation where if he coming across here, he had to understand that any players that them track, we had a back off. But it's not that we can't be going after.
Remember, he is not coming as a scout. So
no, but what I'm talking to know, if it is reported to him that hey, we going and we scout that young boy, and he get a message from City saying
that would be counterproductive. I agree with you. I hear what you're saying, but in the context of if you're hiring a man to come and be part of your football setup, he can't have things in his contract that would hamper his ability to execute that and making sense for us.
True.
You know what I mean? Or for him in his new job. That is the whole reason why they don't allow you to pick up duties one time. Right? So whatever plans you would know what City have in their mind, at least for the next 6 months. So you don't pick up work right now. You give us time to switch, to reorganize, to carry out our plans, execute, change it, and then you pick up your job at a later date. So that's the whole reason for that garden leave. That's the concept behind it.
Now, I will ask you all this. Now, there were reports, that that he was passed up for promotion, right? And hence the reason why now he has jumped ship. Does this come across to you? Because okay, like for example, with fans, we like to say, I like to go and tell fans, if they can't back the team when we are down, don't be here when we up. Right now, City may be on a way down, because they do have 115 charges, right? He was passed up for promotion. Does it come across to you as a little bit scummy, a little bit slimy, right? Maybe a little bit of disloyalty that he just jumped ship? Because let's all be real. Man City has been winning the league comfortably for the past couple of years. They just won the treble. They are at the peak of their powers. Why would this man just leave there to come? No disrespect to this team, but to us, where we are. Does this come across as a little bit disloyal?
No, not loyal is not what looks scummy to me. What looks scummy to me is City is not sure what's coming down the pipe, right? At least I don't think so. I don't think they know for certain what the league is going to rule, what the commission that is looking into their 150 charges. I'm not sure they know for certain what they're going to rule. So City, but what they may be trying to do is clean house. If you run in an organization and certain charges are brought in your organization and certain people in key positions of your organization, that you can move out, right? So when the shit hit the fan, so to speak, it is very easy to say, well, so and so who was involved in that is no longer here. Right? This person, okay. Well, yeah, well, you're accusing us of this, but look, this accountant that was responsible for this person is no longer with the organization.
Right.
That person is no longer with the organization. So, I think it's more along those lines. Because why would you allow one of your key personnel to go to a direct rival
Mm-hmm.
if it is you? Let's just say the man had a contract and it wasn't up. It means City would have had to sign off on it and say, okay, right? They would have had to say, okay. Now, the fact that he's going on garden leave suggests to me that they did say, okay, and they say just take garden leave and they could start at that appointed time.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads me to wonder, well, I don't know who else in City has been exited. We know, I think 2 seasons ago or season and a half ago, Pep Guardiola, second in command, left. The chief assistant coach left, right? What effect, what knowledge he would have of the accounting side, I seriously question that. But we don't know what's going on, who's been leaving, what has been going on inside City. I haven't been paying attention. But that is what I think might be a little slight. Not so much that he he's been disloyal, but more so much that City is like, yeah, what's going on? If things get bad, if we clean house a little bit, we could easily say, well, okay, yeah, okay, you all found us guilty of these things, but the people who were responsible for these things not here anymore. How that would make us look if this guy named us come up as being involved. And now he's our CEO. I don't know. Time will tell how that will make us look. But
Right.
if for their part, it'll make them look good.
Right.
So,
Yeah, the guy who's head of the Premier League. Remember recently they were summoned to something with the MPs and they had their hearings and stuff. And he gave the woman, without being at liberty to call the date, he told her that a date has been set to hear the charges and deal with the matters that have arisen with City. Right? I am sure that information would have been communicated to the hierarchy at City. I mean, you can't set a date, prepare to hear the people charges, and don't let them know when they're in court coming. Right? And it's funny now that this move has happened after we hear that a date has been set. Right? So, Chad, I hear you when they say that they could be cleaning house. However, I look at it from the point of view of if this date comes up and our goodly gentleman gets summoned to either testify or confirm or deny or anything like that, what's going to be the backlash for us? Because I want to, despite all the negatives we say about the Glazers, now it is no longer just those two that are having an input. There are other people that are discussing things with them. People who have been running football club, which is the one in France, Nice, right? People who have been involved in sporting organizations. People who I think we can all as a fan base unanimously agree are a better caliber than the John Muthers and the Richard Arnolds and the Ed Woodwards of the world. Right? They must be, if not 100%, but very reasonably sure that this gentleman will not have any of the proverbial shite that hits the fan stick to him when the trial starts and the conversations start. Or else they know they're setting themselves up for real backlash in the court of public opinion. And then there may be questions for us to answer as to why we went out and hired that gentleman in the first place with these things hanging over their head. This is the corporate world, right? And as much as everybody have their secrets, people can't hide certain things from people around the same level. They all dip in their toes in the same pool. So some of the knowledge becomes common knowledge. And there's, in my honest estimation of how big business works, there is a certain amount of an agreement, silent agreements, that when we know certain things about each other, nobody does spill the beans.
Right, exactly.
is a live and let live kind of situation sometimes, right? So even if this brother who we are hiring has a 1% of something to carry blame for, we will know. Whoever hired him will know what that 1% of it is. Is if they believe it could get swept under the table or sanctioned or forgiven or whatever.
And then there's the other thing where he probably may be aware of what's coming on the pipe and he just decided to jump ship.
Right. Well, before we continue, let me get to some of these comments. Courtney is saying the man is a businessman. What loyalty are you telling me about? Well, that is true. Yes, that is very, very true. However, that that loyalty may have an effect on our club, which could, affect us very negatively. So, but I do understand. I do understand.
Let me just answer Courtney 1 second there, right?
Right.
Yeah, Courtney, right? It's two type of men starting with B that have no loyalty. No, there's no loyalty in businessman and no loyalty in birdman. Case in point, the man who dissed me this evening because one lie.
Yes. Exactly. But it's okay. No, it's okay. I'll tell you, this is a year of the same how Man City are up on charges. We are gonna bring men on charges, right? President Chad has his date. PJ will have his date. All men will have the date in court. All men will have the date in court. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Martin Phillips said good afternoon. He is saying if you are being offered a larger sum of money for doing less, would you stay or move on? Well, you see, that is a little bit of a slight disrespect to us. Because what he is saying is that that Omar coming by us means that Omar has far less work to do because apparently we are crap compared to you all. I understand. But don't worry. 115 charges.
I am pretty sure that it'll be more work, yes.
But yeah,
Trying to get a house in order is way different than going into a well run, smoothly operating organization. And Manchester United may be a lot of things, but well run and smoothly operating organization is not one of them. So you at least have a lot of work to do in the first 6 months that year for sure.
Alex saying good afternoon. Good afternoon to Alex. Greg B, what's going on? Omar leaving City could be a telltale sign that something might be coming in regards to those charges. Maybe. Either that or Ineos offered him a more lucrative position, which they did because remember, he was just the CEO at Man City. Now he is the CEO here. I do agree. Yes, we have to wait and see how things go. I just find that I believe if he was the COO of, let's say, probably Aston Villa or maybe Dortmund or some other team, I think we would have been a little more accepting of it. But because he is involved in Man City and we all know how these guys operate, he does come with that red flag. Now, I do know as men, we don't see red flags. All we see is the big bumsy, right? And we see, oh gosh, no, this is my thing, right? And this is what I'm gonna say. We need to see red flags. And to me, this guy has a few red flags. Why are you in a home with your hot wife who cooks for you every day, cleans your house every day, gave you children, gives you no beans, allows you to go and come as you please, right? You are well put together. Your wife is not out on the road. She has no questionable things about her. But yet you leave this woman to come by us. And we are a bad thing.
Wait, don't
Well,
forget. Don't forget, Robert. Robert, don't forget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're rich like that.
Yes, like that. Like
well,
wow.
that is it. She does have questionable things are wrong. Maybe she have a brother who involved in
Yeah,
nefarious
right,
activities.
but that is a brother.
Maybe,
Mhm.
maybe she, her family accumulated their wealth doing crime. In Trinidad these days, just being associated with you might get shot on.
Yes,
So
I
maybe the man just trying to jump ahead. He just trying to say, see me before I catch a
right.
stray bullet. Let
Mm-hmm.
me bust the tape.
Right, but then why
Who
you leave
knows?
to come to a home where you know we can't cook, we can't clean, we can't dress. Our name,
And we
yeah. All we know how to do is one thing on our back. That's all we know how to do. The end.
But I mean, Robert, look at it
Mhm,
this way. Yeah. Look at
mhm.
it this way.
Yes.
The period that City is being under investigation is from 2008 to 2018. That 10-year period,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
The FFP rules would have changed after that period. So, in other words, if they try whatever it is they're under investigation for, if they tried it now, they're getting jammed by FFP rules because the rules have been changed, right? So it could well be a situation of this fella might be very certain that nothing going on stick on him,
Mhm.
even if he knew something. Because I mean, we all played pin the tail on the donkey as a child in some little birthday party, right?
Yeah.
So you could imagine. I mean, I'm gonna love saying this. City is the jackass on the poster,
Right.
right? And you have 115 tail to
Mhm,
pin.
mhm.
Imagine how embarrassing it's going to look to the Premier League if not one find him,
No.
right?
Well,
And as soon as if they start to try these things, because I mean we say 115, but from my understanding of it, a lot of it is duplicate charges, things that they would have done in successive years repeatedly, right? So it's 115, but I don't believe it's 115 individual things, right?
Mhm.
It's just like 115 breaches collectively, excuse me. The minute they start to investigate that, and the first one failed, the second one failed, the third one failed, that is going to have real doubts being casted on the legitimacy of any of the charges. The more that they fail to get anything to stick. If they start and they get things starting to stick, then it builds their case, right? So what I worry about though is, did he realize, okay, we can't keep operating the way we were operating because of the change in FFP rules. So we go find ourselves under some pressure, right? I not going and get jammed with any of them charges, but the organization going and get jammed. So the organization may very well face a penalty that will put we in a position where we're behind everybody and we can't do what we did to get ahead of everybody anymore. So we go in and plain talk bad manners, catch we ass now.
Mhm.
Let me cut, take my piece of the pie and bustle,
Mhm.
right? By the way, where can I go that is even better established in terms of our fan base and popularity and desperate to get back up the ladder? Oh, I had them fellas down the road in the red house. Right, let
Mhm.
me go check them.
Mhm.
um, I know we're gonna talk about the charges and the possible repercussions. So I guess we could jump into that now. Piggybacking on what Zaire was saying, we would have all seen the stuff making the rounds, saying that City will, based on what the league has done so far with Everton,
Mhm.
ducking 10 points on their stuff and possibly even looking to duck more, right? That if any of these things, if 10% of these things, get stick on City at all, you're looking at possible relegation. right? The Premier League is not going to be able to find them, to go easy on them. They're going to have to throw the book at them if they want to be viewed as being even-handed and if they want to be viewed as being serious about FFP, that City is going to get relegated. We wait to see. You know, I wait to see what actions would be taken. I know the pressure is going to be on the Premier League, on the Football Association, because you can't slam the book at Everton and possibly at Aston Villa as well. You're going to hear what penalties they give them. And then City appears.
Forest as well.
Yeah.
And Forest. And then City appears to get off with a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, of course, because
I think people will not take that well, and the Premier League understands that. So it's either they, as I alluded to, is either they're not guilty of nothing, or if they're guilty of stuff, they have to get the book thrown behind them as well.
I don't think that would happen, because I think City right now are too much of they make too much money for the league right now for them to relegate them. I don't think that will happen. I think
I actually think that would benefit the league more. I am sure League 2 in Italy earn a lot more money than normal when Juventus got bumped down to the league. Because people who never watch League 2 Italian football in their life would be watching League 2 football now.
Right.
You could imagine the revenue streams that the championship would enjoy because City is down there.
Yeah, but
let's be real. They are going to maintain most of their team. There are a lot of players. Kevin De Bruyne. There are a lot of players I think are going to stay because they understand what we just down here for a season. We're going to beat these people up. We're going to win the league, and it's not like it's unheard of, right? Juventus were not just kicked down to league to second tier in Italy. They were kicked down and docked 15 points, and they still won.
Yeah,
They didn't come in second. They didn't go through. They still won and went up. So we could be sure that City, would if it comes to that they would feel very confident that they could go down there and come back up in the first go round. And I think overall, if I was on the board of the Premier League, I could see overall where we would benefit. Because let's be real, Liverpool riding high, Arsenal riding high, you still have Manchester United in the league. Spurs have a new coach. There's enough. Aston Villa seem to be doing new things. There's enough excitement in the league that City dropping out is not going to dent the revenue. The league is exciting, even if you take Manchester City out of the league right now. Do they add something to the league? Yes. But there's a lot of excitement in the league. There's a lot of interest in the league. There's a lot of stuff going on in the league. So if they get bumped down to the championship, I think overall it will be good in the sense of revenue and interest. I and all might watch a couple championship games. I can't tell you the last year I watched a championship game.
2 points, guys. First point. So what Chad is saying, if that situation plays off, think what it's going to do for the other championship teams now. They're going to guarantee selling out their stadium for every
time
game.
City comes.
Every time City comes in town, because people may not have had the chance to see them play live. And if you go down there and you keep your main roster people, is the De Bruyne's, the Haaland part.
I'm not saying no.
But the De Bruyne and the Alvarez's and the Fodens and these people, the Grealishes of the world, who you may have never seen play live, coming into your stadium. Well, that's one. The second point is, as we talk about the Haaland may not stay. I think it's Courtney. Somebody just put a comment in the chat room. If you pull up that comment, I think that's something we need to spend our 2 minutes talking about. With regard to if they get relegated, will their Qatari group stay in ownership. Them fellas don't like to lose. They do not like to come out of any business dealing looking like they have egg on their face or they got embarrassed. So behind the scenes, they probably willing to spend whatever they need to spend. And by the way, nobody has any idea of the limit to these people's real finances, right? So they might declare a certain amount and literally be sleeping with a set of gold bars underneath the pillow and the mattress that nobody know about. They will spend and do whatever it takes to make this go away. And if in all this spending and doing of whatever it takes cannot make it go away, and they end up looking like fools in the eyes of John Public and their contemporaries, because you have the Saudi group, you have the Abu Dhabi group, those other big groups. Who is to say that they're not just going to get so pissed that they cut City free from their stable? You don't think so, Chad?
Never happened. What's me? What is 1 year in the championship? What is that? We just win a treble. What is that?
You're saying 1 year in the championship, right? But you still have to factor in. From what I've heard, if enough of those penalties stick on them, and you go by precedent in terms of how you have deducted points, right? It could be lower than the championship.
That is all right. 2 years. Let me tell you something. I'm concerned in Haaland and some of the big players. Where there is a will, there is a way. If I want to keep my big players and I'm Manchester City, all I have to say is, fellas, here, what you do? Haaland, where you want to go? You can't stay in England, but where you want to go? We know if we call Real now, they're going to take it. We give you a season-long loan. We send you to Real, keep yourself sharp instead of going on in the championship where fellas might want to lick you up. We have a lot of youth products here that we could give a run out. Kevin De Bruyne, where you want to go? Where you want to go? You want to go to France? You want to go to Spain? You want to go to Holland? You want to go, but you want to go to Belgium, take a little run out? You go and take a run out to get a season-long loan, right? Keep yourself sharp. And we do, because you as yourself also want to keep your prized assets. You don't want them fellas going down in the championship and getting there. Right? So somebody, there are certain people you will carry, yes. Right? Your Kyle Walkers, men who your Rodriguez, men who could handle it down there. But some of your little more fragile assets, you don't want to carry them down there, right? So you look into, but where there's a will, there is a way. There is no what Haaland has won. Let us remember, for all the winning Real Madrid has won. Real Madrid never win a treble.
No. Correct.
Never win a treble. What Haaland has done in his first year at City, he knows he's not just going to just go anywhere and replicate that. So why not just take a season-long loan? Now, as we don't know, right? So we don't, as I said, maybe it might be more than one season. We don't know what the penalties will be. But I'm just saying that where there is a will, there's a way. I am not worried. And even if I was City, the last thing on their mind, the biggest thing for them is whether they're going to hold on to Pep Guardiola. That to me is their biggest concern. They're not worried about nothing else. They're not worried about money they would lose in revenue. They're not considering selling the organization. All they're concerned about is if the shit in the fan, will we be able to hold on to Pep Guardiola? The answer is possibly no. And they're looking at who they can line up to come in. And that is it.
It's possibly, is that definitely because people could say what they want about Pep. I honestly believe that the man ego is up there because of the trophy.
Publicly said that if anything is proven against City, that he walk it. Now, people could say anything. That statement was made by now almost 2 years ago.
Right.
Because let us not forget, City was not absolved against the UEFA charges. Right? They were not proven not guilty, And Pep stayed.
Right.
Pep didn't go away. So who knows? He might just very well decide, Spain job not there, don't have any other job I want. Why not? You stay here, yes, I'm at a championship trophy to
The only thing is, Pep cannot go anywhere where it's not ready made with that sort of open check. The man has not won anything
and
except
he
that.
don't want to go anywhere like that. Yeah, you don't want to hard work. But
And
City in the championship is not hard work.
the other thing, too, Robert, as I was saying earlier, after the 2018 cutoff point for what we're looking at with them, the FFP rules changed. So if they go down, depending on how far down they go, they are going to be under new FFP rules that will seriously limit their ability to do what they have done in the Premier League in terms of flexing their financial muscle. Because, I mean, TV rights aside, is what else you're going to be generating income by. So they may be forced to sell some of their quote-unquote lesser assets, which still worth more than probably a whole squad in a lower division, right? To get money in to help them get back certain things. Their biggest assets, who they don't want to carry around, Chad, I completely agree with you. They can't sell them fellas. So they're going to be looking for loans for them, right? Bust out and go here, there, wherever. The key to that here, there, wherever, going to be somebody who could absorb the majority of the fella's salary while he on loan, right? Because remember, if them had to pay, let's just say half a Haaland's salary while he on loan, that adding to what they're putting out in their financial expenses, right? And there's a limit of what they could actually be spending. And your salary structure contributes to that, as far as I understand, which is why we always in shit pants, right? Trying to get money to buy people because of what we spend every month on salaries.
Exactly.
You know, I wanna add something to this conversation. We could say what we want. It is alleged, it is alleged, it is alleged. We know City was breaking the rules. And we know this because there are businesses that were shell companies. There were businesses that supposedly were sponsors to City, and then when you scratch under the surface, you realize, but where is business really located? What products is business really selling? Right? Then there is the whole other aspect of inflated. So Adidas, I just call it a sponsor name, right? Adidas doesn't sponsor City shoes. But I just say Adidas say they're giving you $50 million a year, and you write it up in your books as 75 million, right? So there are a lot of different aspects of the thing. Whether they did all of it, whether they did some of it, we know that they did certain things. Now, as I said, the rules have changed, whether how it would affect now, whether it was against the rules then, we'll find out all of that eventually, right? But hear this. Imagine that you are a sportsman and you use steroids. And because you use steroids, you were able to get drafted. If you use American sports or if you use European sports, you were able to get picked up by a big club. You were able to outperform other young players in your age group, right? You were able to bulk up faster. You were able to mature because most players, really, their body matures in their 20s, right? They bulk up in their 20s. Most players in any sport, they're still kind of slim in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And they start to put on a little size and get a man muscle, so to speak, right? In the 20s. So imagine that you get your man muscles at 18, 19, 20 because you're using steroids. When you reach 24, you stop using steroids. And therefore, you could still compete at a high level, right? And now, the mark boss and people say, you know, this fella used to use steroids when he was younger. And you're benefiting now with your paycheck, with whatever, still because you used to use steroids and you have gotten an advantage on your peers. The reality is, even if City is relegated or gets the whole book, the whole library thrown at them, the sponsorship that they will still be able to draw now after winning a treble, after breaking history and winning, well, not breaking history, but following history and winning 3 in a row, right? They they will benefit and continue to benefit from the ills that they would have done. Even if they were penalized now, because I don't believe the Premier League is going to go as far as to strip past trophies. I don't think the Premier League is going to go as far as to say, see that treble, they get it, forget that. But the reality is that the squad they were able to build and the revenue and the fan base, City's fan base is expanding. Young people now love Manchester City, which if they weren't winning, they wouldn't know. Let's be City are no longer noisy neighbors. You know. City has arrived. Right? They still below Liverpool, below United, below even Nottingham Forest because their trophy cabinet, their legacy hasn't been developed as long over a lengthy period of time. But in terms of being up there amongst football royalty, Manchester City has arrived. Juventus got the kitchen sink thrown at them.
Yeah.
They went down fast season. They came back up. They lose any fans? No. You think any new City fans, brand newly minted, 2 years ago they didn't know Manchester City is now they have jersey, they have cup, they have everything. You think if they get relegated, they're going to not follow Manchester City? No. So they would have benefited and they're going to keep benefiting. The struggle, the reason why they had to bulk up their books is because they didn't have the sponsorship. They couldn't draw that. They could draw it now. They just win a treble. They have players eligible for best player and Ballon d'Or and all kind of things. They are going to benefit. So the long run is we have to see if there's any justice in the world as far as the penalties they're going to get. But in the long run, they are going to come out singing. You know. In the long run, they're not going to lose. You know. As an organization, Manchester City is not going to lose, regardless of what the outcome of this is. Even if they get relegated, they are not going to lose because they have now reached a level that money can't buy. You know how much teams spend? Look how much money Chelsea spending. They didn't come close to that treble. No. You understand what I'm saying? So they don't mind. You could do them what you want unless you go to the extreme of stripping titles, of maybe sending them down to the 3rd tier. It's gonna have to be something that even rival fans will say, nah, boy, or they really rough them up. That was that excessive. Even we might be crying for them and all might say, well, hey, boy, that was real bad. It'll need to be something like that to really strip them of what they have gained while they were cheating. So, do I expect some penalty to come down? Yes. And whatever it is, City's still going to land on their feet. They're going to land on their feet. In my opinion, that's my opinion.
Yeah. Let me go through some of these comments before we look to move on and even wrap up. Right. Courtney is saying, I agree with Martin, less work to do because it doesn't have to build everything from scratch, which is very true. You know, it's very, very true. Greg B is saying the Times said he wasn't involved in any of the deals. Meanwhile, Stefans are saying he is. No, I do not believe that because you can't tell me as a CEO of a company you don't know what's going on. That's like
you may not be directly involved. But you will hear whispers in the hallway.
Yep.
It's just like United Hour, Robert. Even when the president not around, the mothers have the finger on the pulse of the bacchanal and the carry. That is going on. I am sure the man can tell us right now exactly where certain birdman landed and with which birds.
Exactly.
Not me, I drinking my water and minding my business, not this president.
That is what the modern state. I just mind my business. You understand? And that's what the Glazers want him here. He will mind his business.
Correct.
You know, Martin is saying that 11 and 15 charges at the verdict stage would make people happy and some sad, very sad. Maybe. Courtney is saying well, yes, we went through that already. Gareth is saying long time no speak. Good afternoon to Gareth. Enjoyed yourself on the show last week. If you're referring to the 12th man enjoyed me on the show. Right? Those are the thanks and praise that are on the show. Right? You understand? Because I don't go anywhere and everywhere. You know what I mean? These men had to come and give me crumpets and tea and all kind of thing. I was there, I got my own parking spot because they knew who I was. You know? Them asked me on them wanna come and respect me. How dare they? Anyway, we move on. And Ashton is saying, to me, being relegated to championship is not enough punishment, and it should be demoted lower. I agree, Chad. It will come to a point where it is too much. To me, stripping the titles that to me doesn't make sense because we all know that they happened. You know, and
strip them titles, but I don't care. I don't care if they find a way to keep them in the Premier League, you know, partner. I really don't care. But somewhere leading up to 2018, if you have to retroactively apply points deductions based on if you manage to prove anything.
Yeah, but that's unheard of, Zaire. That has never happened in any league where they retroactively.
First time for everything.
And then two,
I'm ready for it to be the Premier League set the standard. They had to lose some of them titles. The one that damn well won them lose is that Aguero. That's it. No. Right out. Right out that.
If they are stripped, remember, Arsenal will now have a title. Do you want Arsenal to have a title?
No. Let's be real. There are a number of options.
And Arsenal somewhere below my waist.
Yeah, there are a number of options for the league. If the league chooses to strip titles, they don't have to be. Well, I strip you of your title, like in the Olympics. The first man get guilty of roids, so the second, third, and everybody just bump up. It don't have to be like that. They could just leave those seasons vacant. Because one could say that on the field of play, right, you committed fraud off the field, but on the field of play, you deserved what it is you got. So if we're stripping you because we're saying you got an unfair advantage because of what you did off the field, they could just leave those titles vacant. I am not sure it is going to be that way because let us say, for argument's sake, that is a kettle of worms if you do that. Because if I was a team relegated,
yes,
that year, I would turn around and say, well, what's going on to me? I should not be kicked out of the league.
Yeah.
So the Premier League is going to do stuff that is going to benefit them. It is not going to do stuff to benefit Arsenal or benefit Manchester United and open a can of worms that they probably don't want to deal with. So they will either, which is why I think stripping the titles is unlikely. But if they do strip the titles, they ain't gonna get no title. For the second places, we came behind City. We ain't getting nothing. Right? The Arsenal ain't getting nothing. They ain't going that route.
They're going to go and look at what Daddy FIFA did. Right? Who have more experience dealing with corruption than Daddy FIFA? Right? And when Daddy FIFA had no legitimate way to give the golden boy the Ballon d'Or in a particular year, when a man run away with it, what they do? They scrap the damn competition and say no Ballon d'Or this year. Right? Just because they couldn't give the golden child.
Yes, Messi. This is all talking on. You can say the name Messi.
They couldn't give him it, so they mash up Lewandowski. The man head, shoulders, knees, and toes above everybody to win the award that year, and they scrap the whole thing. Right? This year, our next man win a treble. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes are above, but yet Messi get FIFA world's best player.
And a Ballon d'Or.
The math's not Matson.
No.
It's not Matson and boy, these Messi fanboys, they're sickening now, boy. They didn't miss the point, you know. The anti-Messi movement has no problem with the man's level of skill. We have no problem with the man's dedication, with the man's achievements, with what he has won. The problem that we have is Ole cannot seem to admit that he is FIFA's golden child and he has been favored over others.
Is the injustice we can't deal with.
That's it, is the injustice.
The injustice.
Bloody injustice. Now, I'm not saying it didn't have other times other people unjustly get tips, right? But you're no longer hiding the efforts to give it to one person. That is where it comes out.
We have a question here from Martin. Martin is asking, with all that English virtue, do anyone on the panel think that the Independent Commission would find City guilty? I believe yes, but they will do it in a way that will, like I say, they will give them a slap on the wrist and no more. Or maybe they may give them a 10-point deduction or something like that.
A little transfer window ban like Chelsea did.
Yes.
Which
A
don't
10-point deduction. I am telling you straight up, if I am Everton or anybody else, I pay attention. And anytime you tell the library at City, I bust in a suit in here. I turn around and say, this way you find me guilty of. And this way you find them guilty of. And that is the penalty. No. You're unfair.
Everton, right? A small club.
I understand that, but I am saying if I am anybody else who that the FA has moved against, I am looking at this. This is what I'm saying, fellas. This is bigger than just City. This is going to be something that sets a precedent, and they have to tread carefully as they're going to look. And we also have the whole cry. Remember just the other day, they made it more difficult after the Saudis bought Newcastle for oil money to get involved in football. They're not impossible, but they made it difficult. They made it difficult for leverage buyouts. What happened to Manchester United with the Glazers?
Yeah, but they're doing these things only after we get shaft.
That doesn't matter. The fact is, it is after the fact, right? After City has done what they done, yes. After we get shaft, yes. But the fact is that they are shining a light on these things and saying, watch, these things are inappropriate going forward. So somewhere inside of there, the politics of how it is going to look is going to factor. And if it looks like if City gets a pat on the wrist, it is not going to look good. It is not going to look good. It's not going to be a good look. It's going to look like if oil money reigns supreme in the league. And that is the image they don't want. They don't want that because it's not like if City is the only oil money club.
No.
You understand? So they don't want to set that risk.
Isn't the, if you want to call it honorary head of the FA, His Royal Highness Prince William? I believe one of his titles puts him as the head. Which, by the way, remember, His Royal Highness is an Aston Villa fan. Just remember that. That's his club. Right? So we don't know if when things start to how it go look and shite hit the fan kind of thing, how those people will react and what they might tell other people in terms of how to proceed because of, the monarchy never wants to look bad.
The long and short of it is this is not just going to boil down to charges. There is a political side, there is a publicity side, the public fallout. All of these things are factors that are going to come into play. And we would like to think, it is just justice. No, it is not going to be just that. Things are going to come into play that is going to work it out. But we will see how it goes. I look forward to it being concluded by the end of the season, so we'll know what it is going on.
Yeah.
I find it one little thing that we are talking about today, Robert, that directly related to our club. I mean, because this is really our first live show for the year. And things have been going on in the market. Question.
It's true. We haven't spoken about about transfers at all.
So let me dip this one. Just simple question here. You all want Jadon Sancho back, yes or no? I'll give you an easy one. A real easy one.
Now, this is what I would say, right? This is what I would say to this whole thing, right? To me, Ten Hag had his part to play in it, right? Yes, I understand that you want discipline and you want to put your stamp on it. Cool. However, what you did in some way was to the detriment of the team. It did negatively impact the team, right? You didn't have to go and tell the boy to go online with the kids, right? You didn't have to go and tell the boy to take his lunch in a lunch kit, right? You didn't have to go and tell the boy that his mother can only drop him down the road, right? And he had to walk to school. That's just rude. It is disrespectful, right?
But we should all that really happen.
Robbie, you didn't answer any question. The question is, do you want to see Jadon Sancho back?
No.
All of that is irrelevant. But good, that is the answer. No.
No, because and I'll say why no, because if you are saying because the thing is, right, he will come back here and he still won't apologize. He won't. So I don't see the point. I
would love Jadon Sancho to rack up plenty of assists and goals in the Bundesliga, so it'll be easier for us to sell him. And I expect, and my prediction is that Jadon Sancho career will go just like the career of what's the guy we bought from Dortmund and sent back? Not the Asian, the other guy. Mkhitaryan. His career will go the likes of Mkhitaryan. It'll just fizzle out. Maybe the likes of Pogba. I don't expect Jadon Sancho to ever make an ex-England team, regardless of where he goes or where he plays. But I hope for the rest of this season that he has success in Dortmund so that we will get suitors that will be willing to pay his salary and will be willing to take it. And that is what I don't ever want to see Jadon Sancho playing for Manchester United. Period. Whether it's under this manager or another manager, I don't want to see him here.
Couldn't you say let the man stay? Right? In Farmers League. Okay. Arsenal is saying bring him back. Now, I would say this one thing, right?
Only man I want to see brought back is Mason Greenwood, but that is for another show.
Correct. Listen, the Sancho thing.
All right, well, cool. Well, don't worry.
I don't want him back because no matter who was right and no matter who was wrong, the man who is the manager of the club clearly doesn't want him.
No.
Right? And you cannot bring him back and then say you're backing your manager.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. So to me, if you're bringing he back, that tells me you're firing Ten Hag in the summer. Because both of them cannot coexist at this club for what has gone down. Right? So to bring him back, it means you're telling Hag, ride out. And when you do that, you tell the whole dressing room, or they could behave the same damn way. Right? And get rid of our next manager whenever they want to get rid of our next manager. So this will have repercussions going down the road because Sancho is not the only quote unquote spoiled brat in the dressing room that we have it.
No, I mean, I would even include Rashi in that. I would throw Rashi in that heap. I would throw Lemon in that heap.
There's more than the mortar in the pestle, and despite whether you think Ten Hag went extreme or he was justified, it may have been a situation where Sancho is the only person he could have get away doing that with. If he tried that with Rashford, he'd have get through bus. If he tried it with somebody else, he'd have get through bus. So it could be this was the only example he could have made. But a man don't say he wants to be there for the base in the show.
Well, you see, he could say what he wants because I know but unless we don't see the proof in the pudding, The proof have to be in the pudding. You have to be here. You can't be like certain man who always lying in some way. With a certain woman some way.
Yeah, but I feel we need my recommendation for the show whenever we discuss when Mason Greenwood chat, we need a female viewpoint. We had to get at least one of the United Hour ladies.
Well, we'll call right. So hence we call CJ, and CJ will bring all the girls. You know, so you bring all of them.
Well, yeah, I don't want no court close and all that. Hurry up. Any program, let me go and finish drink my water, please.
Right. I just want to go on this comment. You know, with this Skinner out. I mean, to me, it was one defeat. I understand, you know, Lauren James and her brother, they're all in the same boat, irrelevant people.
She was never going to stay United anyhow. Chelsea was always her first love.
Right. You know,
that's where she wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see why you have a Skinner out chat. The man has done amazing things.
Yeah.
Since he has taken over the club.
You know, so I mean, I would say don't stress, don't strain, man. You know what I mean? No worries.
And let's be real, managers very rarely ever want to sell their prize assets. Those decisions are made above your head. So we have lost some key players, some key female players in the summer. I don't think it was the manager's fault. And so therefore the manager shouldn't be the one to suffer for that.
Yeah, and before we leave, let's just address this last comment here. Do you think that the new CEO will change up management for the women's team? You know, or would they even like bring in, I guess, new coaches or some new structure?
Just as a little background info on this, people need to remember that it was these same damn Glazers who scrapped the women's program at Manchester United.
Yeah,
and the Glazers that brought it back.
No. I don't think it was the Glaze. They had no choice but to bow to the pressure to bring it back when it came back. But when they had the first time to cut it, they bust the throat at it. That's why all of them girls had to go somewhere else and then come back here. Right? People like Katie Zellam and them. Right? Bring back Casey Stoney. I mean, Stoney did a great job, but I mean, she left and she cited, as I remember, some things that she was very frustrated about not getting done. And then the women's team have been playing and not getting the kind of treatment they should get on a level with the men in terms of facilities. And if I can remember, not a single bit of information is ever divulged about what we sell female players for, what we pay for female players. We don't get it. You don't get nothing. What you just hear is we welcome in this one, we sell this one, that one leave, this one leave.
But I would say
no idea what is going on.
I would say one thing to them: if we want more people to watch the women's team, work more money in the team, I don't want to sound like a dude, but you know, we need some women who have women, you know, attributes. You know what I mean? We need some more pretty people.
They need to fill out the uniform a little better.
Yes. You know what I mean?
I mean, we have a couple, but
West Ham do it. West Ham have real fans of one person. Yeah, Aston Villa have it. Why? I'm sorry, but our poster girl, right, has her shape and my shape are the same shape. I don't understand.
Hey, bro, our poster girl right now is the goalkeeper.
Yes, but she's there for the wrong reasons. She's there because she works very hard and she's great at her job. I want the people who are just there for me. And just watch it and be happy and say yes. Every day I go on that woman page and say, wow, look at her. She's awesome. Can she play football? No, she can't play no football. You understand? I say we should go and buy her. We should go and buy her and bring her across on the team. I guarantee you, our attendance will go up. I guarantee you.
Yeah, but the ladies and them today was a bad day. But to be honest, they do play a nice brand of football. They play a nice brand of football.
Yes. Understand. We need more Brazilians in the team. Yeah, so I just you know what I mean I just but yes, Courtney, I have got clothes. Yes, I do. Every day. Every day. I have got clothes. Yes. I
Listen,
have
once your name is Robert and your head bald, you
uh,
always coat clothes.
always, always. But anyway, people, it is the last call. Closing remarks. Okay, what do you guys want to see for the rest of the season? Like we have this brand new CEO. Okay, would you like some more definitive appointments? Would you like to see more people hired behind the scenes? And would those things make you more optimistic for next season? I'll start with Zahir first.
Along the line of your train of thought there,
Mm.
yes. At this point in the season, I am not convinced that even if we went on an undefeated run, and that undefeated means not necessarily that we win every game, but we do not lose another game in the league from now till the end of the season, we're not going to win the title.
Mm.
I don't believe that, right? We might scrape into the top four and get a little European football, which will just, as always, paper over the cracks of what has happened, right? So this disappointment has been confirmed, right? For me to start to feel that something is in the air regarding positive change, more like this has happened. I don't mean more like people with a cloud of 115 charges over their head coming to work for you.
Mm.
Because, like we established earlier, the man might have all them charges, but there is no disputing his level of expertise, skill, and achievement. Along the lines of that caliber of individual is what I want to see coming to my club. It has to now come to the director of football. It has to come with the backroom staff because something's seriously wrong with the medical department. That department need a gigantic overhaul, as far as I'm concerned. One. Two, we need to get some better coaches who can implement whatever system the manager decides he wants. And that has to filter from under 18s all the way up to first season. If we start putting those structures in place and somehow along the way a miracle happens and we actually get rid of the two Blazers, then I could start to feel like my club is coming back to where my club belongs. Because I still believe with every fiber of my being, my club belongs at the of English football.
All right. Well said. Well said. Chad.
Um, I expect to see other appointments. Maybe they may pick up their roles at the end of the season as well, depending on if we get them from other clubs or what. But I expect to see us fill out a proper footballing structure. We have to modernize, and for all of the abuse that Ole would have gotten by the end of his tenure, he was very responsible, and his predecessor, um, Mourinho, was very responsible for getting at least those positions installed in the club. They weren't necessarily filled by the best and the brightest. But let's bring in a proper director of football. Let's fill out all the key backroom positions with footballing people. I would like to see that. As far as on the pitch goes, I would like us to qualify for some kind of European football. There are benefits, as you saw with Spurs start this season. There are benefits to just playing on the weekend and not having to play football in the middle of the week. Um, there are benefits to that. But Manchester United just name need to be associated with European football. So I would like us to be playing some kind of European football. And if I could see those two things, I think that would position us well into the end of the season.
All right. Well, very, very well said. And I would like to thank everybody for coming on. You know, to Zai here and President Chat, thank you very much for being here. To everyone in the chat for coming through, Courtney, Garrett, Ashton, Martin, Philip, um, Greg B, Alex, and so on. And as always, we'll keep saying it again. Like, if you like what you're seeing, you know, click like, share, subscribe, you know, and don't forget, we still have that Wayne Bully competition going on. Make sure you take the programs, you share them out, and get your chance to win a jersey. You know, so from everybody here, we will be back again with another video. Thank you very, very much for everyone for tuning in. And like President Shadows say, Red Devils, we don't die, we multiply. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.